Hi, thank you and welcome to Felitalks. What comes to your mind when you hear the word addiction? Is it about drugs, alcohol, any other kind of drunk? Today's episode, we're going to have a very special guest who will speak more about being addicted to masturbation. What did she do to overcome this? Please help me welcome one Kate. Thank you and welcome again to Felitalks. Please continue sharing this. So inspiring, yes. And like and subscribe. Please don't forget to subscribe, please. Called Saturday to his, but we are happy to welcome you back to Felitalks. Today, I'm joined by one beautiful, gorgeous lady. Very beautiful indeed. She's really have a very beautiful story. A bit, I don't know what to say about it, but she will tell you where she's come from, and I'm happy she's here to inspire us. Thank you so much.
Asante, thank you for having me here.
Karibu kazi.
Asante.
Wa? Mimi nilipo kupigia simu, I was like, is she sure she's coming? But let me tell you, I feel so happy you've joined me here.
It's an honor. It's an honor to speak to people,
Yes.
to share my life story, and to inspire people. Because I think one thing that God taught me as I was growing up is there's nothing that you go through that is for you. You go through the journey that you go through so that you can pick someone else up from that car bondage.
Very good. Hebu tuambie majina zako kamili.
Kwa ID, wananiitanga Catherine Mutuku.
Yes.
But home, tasikia wananiita Nyiva.
Nyiva.
But Kate is kwa mtaa. So that's
very
my name. Third born in a family of 5, all girls. So third born, by virtue of being third born, Amanisha, you were basically the most ignored kid because concentration is on the first, second, and the last ones. Brought up in Nairobi, Eastlands, and then later on in my life, we came to live in Syokimau. I grew up with both parents until most recently when we lost our dad, but yes.
We're sorry about it.
Thank you.
And I know God is going to give you this grace, and He's still giving you the grace, we can say.
Amen.
Yeah. Now, Kate, it's when you told me about your story, I was she looks so young. Are you sure she went through that? But I'm happy you want to change lives of people. Can you just take us through the story?
So I was a chronic masturbator, if there's a word like that. Just the same way people say I was an addict to alcohol or an addict to, what else, bang and all that. So for me, the addiction that I had was pleasuring myself. And it started at a very young age. First of all, I need to bring some background on how I was exposed.
Exactly.
So growing up in Nairobi, a family of 5, we weren't rich. We were, I don't want to say humble, but not misusing age in humble. We were poor, like literally poor, the definition poor. We were living in 2-room house, 5 kids. So our bedroom was the sitting room. So we were squeezed. We were so squeezed in that house. And my mom could barely feed us. My dad as well, because my dad alikuwa fanya hizi jobs za reja. My mom was mainly the sole breadwinner. So on holidays, my mom would choose to take us to our aunt's place for holiday in Nakuru so that your burden ya kutupea food ipungue. But you know, my dad loved me. My dad alikuwa ananipenda sana. I'm a daddy's girl, you know, grown up.
Hey, you're talking about me.
I know, right? So, and you know when your dad loves you, like, ni ngumu sana akulet go.
Ni ukweli.
So when my sisters would go, like for about a year, my sisters would go for holiday, but me, I would remain behind. My sister would go, me, I would remain. Until one particular day, I think I was in class 3, I had to go. I do not know why I went, but they came back with stories how Nakuru was fun. My aunt used to stay in Nakuru. So how Nakuru was fun and all that. I'm like, I keep missing this fun. I want to go next time. So this particular time I go to Nakuru, I think I'm 9 years old, class 3. I hadn't even gotten to class 3 yet. It was that December holiday ya kuingia class 3. One of the fine days in the house, I also realized they are also living in a very shanty place. Like it wasn't as venye watu walikuwa wanasema, so but the grace was sufficient to host all of us and feed all of us. And one of the fine days in the bedrooms, which was like half bedroom, half kitchen.
Yes.
Nilikuwa tu hapo when someone was cooking lunch. I don't know if it was my sister or my cousin. I go through the cupboards. You remember those old beds?
Yeah.
Zile zilikuwa na kabati hapa kwa headboard.
Yes.
So me niko hapo tunangojea lunch. Manzi niko njaa. Then I fungua those things, just being curious, and then I find this magazine. On the top of magazine it looks cartoonish. So I'm a kid.
Lazima uone cartoon bana.
Exactly. I'm like, kuna kitabu ya cartoon, like, and then your time hakukuwa na cartoons more, but the time TV ilikuwa limited, stima ni ile ya kuzimwa mchana, so mnaona TV jioni. So I was like, nimepata entertainment. Hey, let me tell you my friend. Usikuwa nakimbilia vitu tu zimeanikwa.
Nini uliona?
Me what I saw. Nilifunga hivi kitabu nikafunga kwanza, I'm like, did I see right? Then I opened again. So the first image that ilinigonga kwa uso was a naked woman holding something. It looked like a stick. So this magazine was 2D. Like unaona ile 2D yenye nilikuwa chora kwa class.
Yeah.
Hivyo. Like see photographic.
Yes.
Ilikuwa 2D ya kuchora. So at first I saw it and I'm like, why is this woman naked?
And what could be this?
I closed it haraka before my sister and my cousin saw me nikarudisha. But that grew, ili breed curiosity in my head.
Ile niende nichukue.
Exactly.
Nione tena.
The entire day niko tu nini niliona. I need to, like, I was so curious. So when people are out, of course you've eaten lunch, vyombo zimeoshwa, so everyone is shughulikaing with their own things before stima iwashwe, because stima ilikuwa inawashwa jioni.
Yeah.
So I went back to the bedroom, I opened the magazine, I looked at it, I perused, I'm like, hey, okay.
Hapa kuna mambo.
Hapa kuna mambo. So yeah, that's how I got introduced. Or that's how I came to realize my sexuality. Yes. Before that, I didn't know what part is what part. I didn't know those feelings. I didn't, until that time. That's when my body became, I felt some weird feeling. I'm like,
something, a trigger.
Yes, yes. So that's how I got to realize that. Yeah. And then of course, during that holiday, I became a regular, checking the book, perusing through. I could say my mind is photographic to date. I remember every image I saw. Wow. Yes. I remember every image. They drew different styles, how to pleasure. The first few pages were how to pleasure yourself. So that is what caught my eye. And I was like, why would they draw that if that's not right?
And did you ask your aunt what was that?
Would you? Would you?
I don't know. Maybe.
Kitabu imefungwa, kabati imefungwa na kifunguo hivi.
Sasa hapo utachapwa. Ulizo ulikuwa unafanya nini hapo?
Like story. So I didn't ask, and it felt wrong. It felt strange. So you wouldn't really. Kuna hiyo feeling unajuanga kadhambi kakikam. So at that time nilikuwa nako ka feeling kitu na feel so wrong. Like I feel like I've intruded, nimeenda kitu yenye sifai kuenda.
You've been true to something that doesn't even belong to you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes. So we came back to Nairobi. I joined, my mom decided to take us to boarding school because apparently now we can't also stay at home, all of us. So I'm the next culprit. Our second born sister refused to go to boarding school. Alisema yeye asome boarding school. So mimi ndio the next culprit wa kupelekwa boarding school. Yeah. So tukaenda boarding school. This school was like a family school. All of us, our cousins, our sisters, we were all there. Yes. In this school, we had to share beds because, you are the younger sister or the younger cousin and maybe you don't have a mattress and all that. So the teachers were quite understanding. So we shared beds, my cousins and I and my sisters. Like there wasn't much attitude. Nilikuwa na shift, nalala hapa, nalala hapa, nalala.
Si nilela, kwani kuna shida gani?
Exactly, na ni domi ya wasichana.
Exactly.
So there wasn't such a big problem. And that's when I realized actually people would touch themselves.
What?
And it looked normal. you know, all this while, by the way, nimetoka Nax, sijajiguza. Sijafanya anything, but I kept thinking about it. Then I come to school, we are sharing beds with my cousins, my sister, and I could feel them do that at night. And to take it even further, someone did that to me, like without my permission. So it felt so strange, like what is this? They even used my hands to do that to themselves. Like it felt so strange. And later, sasa, of course, now because that's a daily thing, your body just starts becoming numb, and you're like,
it's okay. Nguvu hata mimi niko na ngoja.
Exactly. Hawa ni watu wakubwa. Wao ndio wanajua what is right. You don't know. That's how we began it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how long did this stay? Like, is it throughout the primary school, Ama?
Quite an okay, funny thing. I didn't stay in that primary school for long.
Yes.
I stayed for 2 terms. Na nikakata shule. Nikakata shule. A lot of issues behind it, but I just told my dad, I'm not going back to that school. So I stayed home. The 3rd term of that year, I stayed home because I can't go. And I explained to my dad understood, my mom didn't. So the next year I went to a day school. So when I went to a day school, I had a friend in the estate who was like a very close friend of mine. Akakuja home. Yalikuwa wale those rich kids, akakuja home, tunacheza and all that. And in the midst of kucheza, he tells me, but there kuna kitu nataka kukuonyesha we can do. And I'm like, what is this? Remember, all this while I haven't started touching myself. It's me being done all that.
They're doing it on you.
Yes. So this girl tells me, let me show you something we can do. Back then, I don't know if it's PG rated, the words I'm going to use.
No.
I hold them back.
We'll just mention kidogo tu.
So anyway, alisema tufanye kitu. So I was like, okay, show me because I don't know. So when she told me, lie on the bed, do this and that, and I'll do this, and she started touching me the same way my sisters were doing, and my other cousins and my other, you know, I was like, you have to tell me I'm the only one who doesn't understand this thing. Like now open, like use that.
Sasa ni ile ya kwani ni mimi sifanyi?
Exactly.
Wow.
So hapo ndio macho yangu ikafunguka, and that's how I started. Now I started doing it to myself. I was like, blah 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 throughout. That's now class 3, 4. That holiday.
So you did it all through to
now from that is 9 years, all the way
to high school.
At the high school, to campus.
Up to campus.
Up to campus.
And then let me just ruka kidogo. You've done with your primary. You've been doing this to you. Now you go to high school. You introduce to new friends. Now, were you doing it on you, or you are still recruiting people to know what you know? No,
not really. I'm a shy person. I don't appear shy, but I'm a very shy person. Yes. I don't like people knowing my business. So I'd never actually introduced anyone. I would just wait for lights off, do it, sleep in the middle of the night, do it, sleep. Like it was such a regular thing that it felt so normal, even in the shower. Like ni kama dawa. Hata dawa ni kama mtu unachukuanga less times, because dawa ni times 3.
Yes.
It would be like I'm about to sleep. That would be my lullaby. If I turn like this and I feel like I'm awake, that will take me back to sleep again. Like it became such a regular thing, but nobody knew in high school. I didn't introduce anyone.
Wow.
And no one knew what was happening. Yeah.
So you are here, you transit, you've been addicted. If you're not understanding what we're talking about, Katia was addicted to masturbation, but she was introduced, she did not know it by herself. She was just triggered by some information she came through when she was young. And from there, it's like some of her relatives were okay doing it on her, and now the transition between the cousins, all the relatives, she started doing it by herself. And from that time, she got addicted. And we are getting a short break. Hii ni moto. I need to go on a short break. And then when we come back, she's going to talk on now what episodes came. Something happened, yes. She's going to talk what happened and what was the turning point. Thank you. Karibuni tena. Thank you so much for just a small brief of what we are talking about. It is just to get people get help. We know we have a lot of people who are out there being addicted to something they cannot talk about. It's good to talk about something to get help. We are with Kate here today. She's trying to tell us the addiction she went through. It was not about drugs or anything. It was addiction that is very special. That's what we are talking about, and she got help. So people out there, you can get help. Kate,
Yes.
sasa tumemaliza form 4 nini, and it's quite interesting how you came out and encourage people on this. You know, it's not quite something good, but there are people going through this and they're just quiet out there, and others are shy to talk, but you came out strongly to talk about it, so that somebody can get help. And I can say kudos to you. So Kate, now we are here, we're done with form 4, now we're in university. What was now your university life now? Because you've never talked this thing with anybody.
Funny thing, when I joined university,
Yeah.
I swapped between that and sleeping with people.
What?
So now I actually got not introduced, do I say introduced? Like I got to now realize my other side of sexuality, of sleeping with a guy in campus. And I realized, but the bad thing was this, whatever masturbation was doing to me is not the same thing that I was getting from this. Let me explain. The pleasure I would get when I was doing it to myself was different from when I was doing it with someone else.
Kwani, what was it doing to you?
Need I explain that? There's some feeling of, the best word to use is euphoria. My euphoria is complicated. Like you'd feel like you're so high, like you've taken some drug. The entire body is chilled, and you feel like goosebumps kila mahali, and then it only lasts for like 3 seconds. Alafu inaisha. This other side, you'd have to like work on it until you get there. And even when you get there, there's nothing like that feeling would not compare. So I would be with this guy, and after he's done his deed, I would still masturbate with him in bed. Yeah.
Quite funny,
like,
eh?
I would still touch myself, because I was like, you've not done it. I've not gotten the feeling that I was looking for. You get, like, haven't, and it was so, it was like a secret when I was starting. Like I would touch myself in secret with my boyfriend at the time, until he realized that I was doing it, and is like, I can help you if you want me. I can help you. And then it brought back the memories of how that would happen when I was being introduced to this. It brought back those memories, like that feeling of when someone else is doing it to you.
Wow.
So the swap became him doing it and not me doing it.
Okay.
Campus was just the same every day. Like I missed classes. I missed a lot of classes.
Now, when you miss class, where do you go to now?
See, I would spend at his place. Like it was either his place, my place, or class, and most of the time I was not in class. God had blessed me with such a bright brain. I never failed. I never failed any unit, not even a C. Like all the units were B and A's, but I would not show up to like 90%. Okay, not 90%, because 90% would have suspended.
Yeah.
So like the major part of the university, I didn't attend like physically. I would show up kidogo, lecturer kisha kujua, unaanza kumiss classes here and there.
At one given time, did you think like you need to talk to somebody? Like go back to your daddy, ama mommy, ama somebody you can trust?
I did. I did. There's a time, let me bring you back kidogo to high school. High school, there's a time a pastor came, Pastor Ken Aringo. He came and talked about it. Me, all this while, I didn't know that it was a sin, like described in the Bible. Now, I am brought up in church, like born and bred in the altar,
Yes.
you know. So I did not know that this was a sin, like described in the Bible.
Yes.
What I knew the Bible describes as a sin is fornication. Fornication your questions anonymously. And I was like, my time is this. So I wrote, is masturbation a sin in a paper. Folded it. Of course, it's anonymous. Folded it. But you will know your paper. Ile si unajua notebook yako
ni lazima tu utaijua tu. Ikasomwa ndio hiyo ikasomwa.
Ikafunguliwa,
ikasomwa,
ikakunjwa, ikawekwa kando.
Yes.
Paper nyingine ikachukuliwa.
What?
Imagine.
And they never even helped you on that?
They never touched it. They never talked about it. They never said nothing. They just opened the paper. I remember that pastor opening the... And funny thing, I was seated next to that pastor. Like, I was seated, amekaa hapa, amekaa hapa. Nikaona karatasi yangu imechukuliwa, nikasema leo ndio ile siku kama ni sin, we are getting delivered. Like, I had made up my mind, I'm getting delivered today. Karatasi ikasomwa, my dear. Ikarudishwa
tena. Na wewe ukasema nika sawa tu.
Sema kama hii iongelewi kanisa.
Siko tu sawa.
Siko tu sawa. That between that and the day that I completely got delivered, 6 good years.
6 good years.
6 good years.
So it took you 6 good other years.
Yep.
To get out of this thing.
Yes.
Wow. Now Kate, mimi hata umenichanganya kusema kweli. Sasa umemaliza university. Na umepita vizuri sana.
Ai, second class upper.
Hey, hallelujah, Jesus is Lord. Unaona venye Mungu alikuwa anakupenda. Now you are here, you moved again, now umemaliza university. Now after that, now Kate, what were you doing now?
So I'm in the house, of course, most of the time you're in the house looking for work, attachment and all that. You're still doing this. But in that season, so this question was ignored when I was in university.
Yes.
So in that season, I became friends with my dad. I grew up fearing my dad because my dad was a disciplinarian, even though I was a daddy's girl. So tulikuwa tuna hiyo relationship ya uoga because anaweza kuchapa anytime.
Unaweza tuangu.
Dadangu alikuwa mbaya. So in 2016, I grew that relationship with him. We became best of friends. And he started challenging me to read the word. Like kila siku. Alikuwa anauliza umesoma nini leo, na kama hujasoma anakupatia, like alikuwa ananipreachia every day. Mimi na yeye personally, like he didn't require an entire congregation, like that man preached to me. So in that process of preaching, my spirit would get inaitwaje kukua revived.
Oh yeah.
Like you see how your spirit has been dead all along because of sin, but this man constantly breathes new life to you, that your spirit begins to get new life.
It's like now you start reflecting on what has been happening to your life.
I start feeling like, hey, I've been living quite a big lie. Because remember, huyu dem ni praise and worship leader.
Ay, Kate, ate siku zote when it's happening
kutoka high school.
Mungu ni mzuri.
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
I would toka kwa madhabahu, teremka chini, go to the washroom, do my deed, come back to listen to preaching. It was that bad.
During service?
During service.
It
was that bad. Like it was that bad. So I would come from church so worn out. So the other thing that masturbation does to you, it wears your entire body out. Like after that deed, unafeel like umejog marathon, like umeenda marathon ya 42 kilometers. Like your entire system is inaisha nguvu mpaka kwa toes, like huwezi simama. You need like a few minutes to catch up, like to bring your body up. So
unahitaji kukunywa kafanta.
Unahitaji ati fanta ama coffee. You need some coffee, like conk espresso, and I think that's why I got addicted to coffee. Anyway, I would drink a lot of coffee because I needed a lot of energy. That thing drinks your energy. Anyway, there's a lot of spiritual part that that does. So my dad breathes new life to me. I realized whatever I'm doing is manipulating God.
Yes.
Because I'm going to church, I'm preaching to teens, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and then after that I'm just doing the opposite of what I'm preaching.
Yes.
And I was walking freely like that. So,
wewe dhambi moja ulikuwa unajua?
Fornication
na mimba. Hizo ndo to sin in this world.
If you're not pregnant, you're not sinning.
You are okay.
Okay. So then I get to a Bible study. I get to a Bible study. So my turning point comes here. So one of the Sundays I go to church.
Yes.
This pastor starts preaching ni kama ananipreachia.
What?
Huyu pastor ameni point. Yani na alianza kunipoint, hata si yeye, dada alianza kunipoint the previous night. Mahubiri dada napiga. Anasema unajua kuna watu, this is what dad said that made my mind be like, dad, kwani unaniona?
Kwani kuna kitu aliambiwa?
Alisema alipenda story, there was a choir that was singing very beautifully. And then the choir master died. And then he went to heaven. And he told God, sijamaliza kazi yangu. Kuna competition tuko nayo. And you know this is a big choir. We will win.
Yes.
Then God told him, you don't need to go there. I want you to see it from here. Then when the day of the competition came, the choir master saw only one person singing. And he asked God, why is only one person singing? I have a choir of over 300 people. And God said, in heaven, we only hear the voice of a righteous person. Hizo zingine ni clinging cymbals, ni kelele.
What?
Imagine. And my dad was like, unaweza imba uongoze ibada watu wa move na waanguke na walie machozi. Lakini sauti yako haifiki mbinguni. That thing moved. Was like, kesho yake kanisani, mahubiri, hiyo. And I was like, Pastor, what are you trying to say? Did you have an agreement with my dad? But I think my day had come. So I leave. I go to the washroom. I try. It didn't happen. My body didn't coordinate with me. I come back. I'm like, I'm feeling angry.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like...
Hii kitu ija come through.
Yeah, I'm feeling so angry. Come back. The pastor preaches and I feel like, yeah, I think my time
It's
is
time now.
Uzuri. Hakuita altar call. Uzuri. Acha niseme ni uzuri kwa sababu
ungechomoka.
The shame.
Yaani ulikuwa unaona nimetoka ku lead worship sasa nirudi pale kwa kuombewa. Si mimi.
Imagine.
So my God.
Let me say uzuri hakuita altar call. But that week when we went for Bible study.
Yes.
There's this mama who an older lady in our Bible study who is like an intercessor. And while she was praying, I think God shows people things.
Yeah.
And she had seen that spirit of masturbation. And let me tell you guys, masturbation is a demon. It's a spirit. There's nothing good about it. Let no doctor tell you that masturbation, that it will help you not get cancer. That's a demon. Don't even fall to that. Anyway, so this lady got that revelation of there's a spirit of masturbation in this room. So we did our Bible study and all that, and then she prays. And that woman rebukes that spirit. That woman rebukes that spirit. And I'm like, I start feeling relieved. Like I start feeling...
unasikia sasa mzigo.
Mzigo imetoka. I didn't say a word. I just felt like something that was holding... It's like a veil. I don't know, something... uzito. Kama saizi nasikia uzito kwa kichwa kwa sababu ya nywele. But I felt that kind of relief. That was the last day I ever masturbated.
Praise
that
to
was
God.
The last day.
Is there anything that came through the masturbation, like this addiction? Because there are two addictions here. There's the masturbation itself and the sex. You know, people may think sex is not an addiction, but it is, and it's more spiritual. And what did anything happen to you on that?
There's a lot.
Is there a challenge that came through?
There's a lot.
You can just mention a few just to encourage somebody.
Hey, there's a lot because one thing that living in sin makes you like unaishi kwa giza, unaishi nika umejificha.
Yes.
And like I said, when we were growing up, sin was getting pregnant. So because I'm a chronic masturbator, I'm addicted to sex, that's all I'm doing in campus, I got pregnant. I got pregnant. And not once, I got pregnant twice. So the first time I got pregnant, I told my guy I'm pregnant, and he was like, we're not ready. I'm like, okay, we just go to the chemist, got a pill. Ikaisha kama period.
Ukaona life can continue.
Yani you can get pregnant and just have a period. And that's it. I became even more careless. I think 4 or 5 months later I got pregnant again. And I told him, I was like, yo, what's wrong with you? He starts blaming me.
Now the blame shifts.
Yes.
It comes straight to you now.
Yes.
It doesn't even see. Even him is addicted to that.
Exactly. He was like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I really? Then I go get the pill again. This time around it didn't work as it did last time. I got so sick, almost died, had to come to Nairobi for treatment. But it was, so when I came to Nairobi, I was like critical. Like ile, imekaa kwa tumbo, imeoza.
Sorry.
Imekaa like almost a week. Na ijatoka, imetoka lakini ijatoka. So I come and get the MVA, they clean me up and tell me, oh, you're lucky. You must have a very big God in heaven. I'm like, yeah, the same God that I keep embarrassing every time.
Still taking care of you.
Still taking care of me.
Wow. Now, there comes the turning point. And now the prayer has been done. You've not, that thing has disappeared. Like, did it disappear completely, like per se? It never came back again.
So
or you are working on it?
So when this lady prayed, for a very long time, I didn't feel the urge completely. Like it stayed for a long time. I would say almost a year. I didn't feel the urge. But let me tell you something. If you do not sustain that point of prayer, if you do not sustain your deliverance with prayer and word, the devil, Bible inasema tu vizuri, anazunguka na akirudi, anarudi na watu wa saba, anarudi na others wengine.
Wow. So even after coming out, there was some triggers.
There were
How did you manage that?
Hey, discipline. Na discipline ni ngumu. Ni ngumu. Because my triggers were very simple. I see a very handsome guy, I'm triggered. Hey. I see a very good looking young man, I'm like, that one is nice.
Oh, that looks
and my entire body is telling me,
you can have that.
Imagine?
Just have that, yeah.
In that process, I got so good at lying. That lying tongue. I could lure a man. Nilikuwa mimi ndo nakatia jamaa.
Hey.
Nilikuwa naangalianga nyuma like Kate umefanya mambo. Nilikuwa nakatia jamaa na anaingia box. Na akiingia box nikimalizana na yeye me I'm just out. I just liked you. I wanted the package.
That's it.
And I'm done.
Guys, you see what happens when you don't reform. Reformers.
So some of the triggers included internet. Some of the triggers included spending time alone. So I completely avoided spending time alone. So I didn't have uzuri kwetu tuko wengi, so hakuna personal bedroom.
Yes.
Na bedroom kwa watu wawili ama watatu. So that helped me a lot. I also didn't visit boys, men in their houses. Like nilikata mabeshte like this. Most of my friends were those people who knew the kind of lifestyle I lived. Like they even encouraged me, hi, unaonaje jamaa? Like, unaona wale majama, and then my friends were men. So upata a guy encouraging me to go on with their friend because they think that I can
the guy can get in. Yeah. Okay, fine. And now Kate, let me call you Kate because we use the name Kate.
Yes.
Kate, now, yes. I'm so happy you've just shared your story. It's quite inspiring. And now because now you are born again now, those things, they're behind you now. That was you back then. Yeah. Can you just look there and tell somebody, now, what are you doing now? And what has really managed you to be the Kate we see now today?
When you get delivered, you have to sustain that deliverance either through prayer, not either. You have to be prayerful, you have to read your word, you have to fellowship. Like you have to be disciplined in those ways. Otherwise, this demon will come back with the brothers and the cousins. Remember what the Gospels, Matthew, Luke says. You go and come back when you find the house empty, comes with 7 others who are stronger than you. So what I am currently doing, I got involved so deep in ministry that the devil has no time to trick me. He has no time to eat, like sina free time. I'm either serving in the worship team, I'm either serving in the ministry at teens as a teacher, I'm either serving in the ministry as a mission. I love going out to reach out to souls. So I'm always busy doing something for the kingdom. I'm coordinating Bible studies as well. I'm coordinating a few other groups that are just to teach people the word of God and how to just sustain your walk with God. So currently that's my lifestyle, like Monday to Monday, vitu za God. Because nikikaa tu nde, when you sit, by the way, when you sit idle, the devil will look, that's why they say that an idle mind is a devil's workshop. It might be a saying, but it's a true saying, because when you are idle, the devil looks for ways to take your time. And that, if you have been going through masturbation, pornography, or even atakukula. The second thing, be disciplined in reading your word. Ata usisome chapters, 1 verse a day. 1 verse a day, and meditate on that 1 verse. That 1 verse will give your spirit more urge to read 2 verses next time, more urge 3 verses next time, until the point you'll be like, ukiongea hivi ni word inatoka. That's why Colossians says, be rooted. And when you're rooted, no matter what the enemy says, haizi kukutoa hapo. Number 3, keep good company. Keep good company. Me, if I didn't keep good company, by the way, kama singe cut off watu wa kitambo, nichukue new people, I wouldn't be where I am. Because this new company checks on you, checks like accountability. It's very important, especially if you're walking out of addiction. Accountability is important. Someone needs to know that I have been delivered from this and I am walking like this. There are moments you fall. I fall. You know, it's not like my walk is like now I'm in the highway of holiness. We all fall. So when I fall, do I have someone who I can go back to and tell them, Daddy, Mom, I fell? You have that person. That person who cannot condemn you. Remember, Romans inasema, there's therefore now no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus. So falling is something that happens to all of us. There's no one who has the stamp of holiness. It's only God who's holy. Okay? So if we all fall, then that's why grace applies. That's when grace applies. Mercy applies. So you get someone whom you can go and be vulnerable to. Number 4, I don't know if I mixed the numbers, but the next one is keep off the internet.
Amen.
Keep off the internet until you're free.
I'm really happy for the points that you've already mentioned. We have self-discipline, number 1. And I really love that part, being disciplined.
Yes.
Number 2, living with the right peers.
Yes.
I love that. Number 3, and that should be the overall, loving God. And have been in such an umbrella that really operates on God's control. And I'm really happy because the church you go to, I know it personally. And really, I know the pastor there, the bishop. Quite interesting. And I'm telling you, if I've seen that bishop and the mom of that church, there are people who connect well with the youth.
Yes.
And I love that. And I'm really happy that you chose the right church to go with. And also you chose the right people to work with. And it's not that she only operates on church only, but she's still working. She's a very talented researcher here.
True.
Yeah.
Policy research.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's doing good. And a lot of organizations are reaching out to her for when they're doing a research on something. If you're interested, you can reach out. You can even check on her. I think you have a Twitter.
I have
Twitter,
LinkedIn,
and
yes, LinkedIn account, Catherine Mutuku.
yes.
Yes.
She's really doing marvelous work out there, and she's really working with the youth.
Yeah.
So people, you know, you can believe it. When you believe it from the inside you, it's not the physical you by saying, but when you believe it and you can really change your life for real. Kate is a good example of what she's gone through, and she really changed her story, and now she's new and reformed. Kate,
There's hope.
there's always hope. I love that. There's always hope.
There's hope.
My people, there is hope. We love you, Kate.
Thank you.
Please continue doing the same good work you are doing. May God continue blessing you, and always keep the faith.
Amen. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. That's it for today. If you feel inspired, please don't forget to like and please share. The stories are good. Share. This is Felitalks.